You know that feeling. It's gotta be one of the most frustrating things in the world. You are absolutely exhausted. You climb into bed, you're so ready for a great night's sleep, and then just nothing. Your body is practically screaming for rest, but your brain, it just refuses to power down.
Does that sound a little too familiar? You spend the entire day fighting off drowsiness, just dreaming of your pillow, only to find yourself completely wide awake the second your head hits it? If that's you, you're definitely in the right place.
Okay, so let's really get into this. The heart of the problem is this fundamental conflict, right? Your body is physically ready, it's begging for sleep, but your mind is just stuck in overdrive. It's replaying the day, it's worrying about tomorrow, and it's basically just refusing to get with the program.
And this isn't just you feeling a little restless. This is a full-on biological battle that happens every single night. And to win it, we first have to understand the battlefield. And that battlefield is inside our own heads.
I want you to think of your brain as having two competing systems, kind of like a wake switch and a sleep switch. See, falling asleep isn't just about getting tired. It's about actively flipping the switch from wake to sleep. So let's take a look at what actually controls those switches. Picture it like a tug of war happening in your brain. On one side, you've got all the wake signals, things like blue light from our screens, stress hormones like cortisol, and even a warm body temperature, all screaming at your brain, stay alert, stay awake. But on the other side, you have the sleep signals, melatonin, a calm nervous system, and a cooling body temperature that are all saying, hey, it's time to rest. To fall asleep, you have to intentionally tip the scales in favor of those sleep signals. And a huge part of tipping those scales comes down to this one really important concept: thermoregulation. It's basically your body's internal thermostat, and according to sleep science, it is one of the most powerful triggers for getting you to sleep. And get this, your body doesn't even need a massive change. Research shows that just a 1 degree Celsius drop in your core temperature is enough to send that powerful signal to your brain that it's time to enter deep restorative sleep. It's a subtle change, but it's an absolutely non-negotiable biological trigger.
So how does this cool down happen naturally? Well, as darkness falls, your brain's master clock tells your pineal gland to start releasing melatonin. Now, melatonin doesn't just make you feel a bit drowsy, it actively helps lower your core body temperature. But here's the modern day problem. That blue light beaming from our phones, our tablets, and our TVs completely tricks our brains. It makes them think it's still high noon, which, as the Sleep Foundation explains, shuts down that critical melatonin release.
Okay, so since our modern lives are often working directly against our natural sleep cycles, we can't just hope for sleep to happen anymore. We need a master plan. We need to intentionally create the conditions that help us sleep by building a dedicated wind-down routine. Your plan starts with what we'll call the wind-down window. This is a dedicated 30 to 60-minute buffer zone right before you plan to go to bed. And the absolute key here is consistency. Sticking to the schedule every single day, yep, even on weekends, helps train your brain to recognize, oh, okay, this is when we start shutting down for the night. So what do you actually do in this window? First things first, calm your body. A warm bath about an hour before bed is perfect. As the Sleep Foundation points out, it's not actually the heat that helps you sleep, it's the rapid cool down after you get out that mimics your body's natural temperature drop. Gentle stretching can release physical tension, and a light snack or a non-caffeinated herbal tea can really soothe your system and get it ready for rest. Okay, next up, calm your mind. This is where we directly attack that wired feeling. You've got to put the electronics away to stop that melatonin-blocking blue light. Maybe listen to some calming music or even pink noise, which some studies show can improve sleep quality. The Woolcock Institute also suggests reading something simple, not a crazy thriller, or journaling to get all those racing thoughts out of your head and onto the paper. And this quote from Dr. David Rosen just hits the nail on the head. He says, there is a difference between understanding a concept and really internalizing it as a part of your behavior. We can know all of this stuff intellectually, but the real trick, the real challenge, is turning this knowledge into a consistent, automatic habit. So what happens on those nights when the basic routine just isn't cutting it? That's when you need a couple of secret weapons in your back pocket. Let's look at 2 powerful science-backed hacks to add to your toolkit. Our first power-up is all about temperature. Since we know that a cooling core is a critical sleep trigger, we can actively manipulate our environment to basically supercharge that process. Here's exactly how you can take control. You want to aim for a bedroom temperature somewhere between 18 and 22 degrees Celsius. That's about 65 to 68 Fahrenheit. This cool air helps your body shed heat way more efficiently. And remember that warm bath? Well, a meta-analysis found that if you time it about an hour before bed, it can actually reduce the time it takes you to fall asleep by an average of 10 minutes. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, our second power-up is for when your mind simply will not stop racing. You can't force your brain to be quiet, but you can give it a new and less stressful job to do. It's called cognitive shuffling. The entire goal here is to break up those coherent, anxious thought patterns. By making yourself focus on a series of random, disconnected images, you're basically mimicking that jumbled, dreamlike state your brain naturally enters right before you fall asleep. You're derailing the train of thought that's keeping you wide awake.
Here's how you do it. It's actually pretty easy. Pick a simple, neutral word, something like pencil. Okay, for the first letter, P, picture a pear. Just hold that image in your mind. Then move to E and picture an eagle. Then N, maybe a needle. The key is that the images are totally unrelated. A pear has absolutely nothing to do with an eagle. There's no story to follow. And that randomness is what breaks the cycle of anxious thoughts and lets your mind just drift off. So let's bring this all together. It's really time to stop seeing that hour before bed as just a waiting period and start seeing it for what it truly is. That hour before you go to sleep isn't wasted time. It is a strategic investment. It is the launch pad for a productive, clear-headed, and energized tomorrow. Seriously, how you spend that 1 hour can determine the quality of the next 16. So if you only take away a few things, let it be these 3. First, remember to tip the scales. Your job is to weaken those wake signals and boost the sleep signals. Second, cool down. That drop in your core body temperature is an absolutely essential trigger. And third, distract your brain. Don't fight with your thoughts. Just gently guide them somewhere else. And I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. We spend so much time and energy trying to optimize our mornings, right? But what if the single most important productivity hack, the real key to a truly successful day, doesn't start when your alarm goes off, but actually begins when you start to wind down the night before?